going on, Jerome's beautiful Sunday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So NFL Combine rolling along. I don't know. Like this is probably like a boomer, crotchety old man complaint, but I don't like the Combine has been stretched out so long, and dudes are running in prime time. You got like David Spade in the booth. Like who cares? Who cares? Like I also miss the days when the draft was just Saturday, Sunday. Because now it's day one. Day one's round one on Thursday night. Day two is second and third round. And then day three is on Saturday. Day two's on Friday. And I don't know, like back in the day, it was rounds 1 through 3 on Saturday, 4 through 7 on Sunday, and it was great. It was in the afternoon, and it was good to go. Weather was getting nice. It was good. But either way, it is what it is. NFL is looking to maximize dollars and revenue and all that stuff, so I get it. But your running backs did some stuff and some things and stuff on the field on Saturday, and here's a couple winners, right? Obviously a very deep running back class, and some of our favorites check the boxes. Now, we all say about the Combine is that whether they perform great or poorly, like it shouldn't move the needle too much, right? So the tape is the tape, and you're betting on traits, yes, but it really, God, who was it? I think it was Belichick talking about Tabucky Jones, where Tabucky Jones ran like a 4.340, right? But Belichick was like, oh, it's really more like you ran a 5.2 because you don't know where the hell you're going. Where, yeah, you can be fast in track shoes and underwear in a straight line, but if you don't have the agility, if you don't have the footwork, if you don't have football knowledge, if you don't know what you're doing, like it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I think that there's certain thresholds that players have to check. Like you're not going to have a 250-pound offensive guard. Sorry, Willie Lampkin, but But a couple winners in the running back department. So Beshel Tootin, a guy that I like a lot, the pride of Virginia Tech, NFL put everyone on notice. 4.3240, best among running backs this year. 40.5-inch vert. Let's see, he's like 5'9", 216. 10-foot, 10-inch broad jump. Tied for second among running backs this year. So pretty damn good. Pretty good. And we had thought of him as day 3 selection. I think he may still be in that conversation because of such a deep running back class. But I mean, if Tootin goes in the 4th, I don't think anyone would be too shocked. The thing that he does have to work on is ball security, and that could ultimately be a deal breaker for the Vikings in this spot. But I guess we'll see. Someone I was really fired up, had a really good combine, is DJ Giddens. Now, Giddens was interesting at Kansas State, where they didn't really have a whole lot going on, but I mean, Giddens was just able to get his. Like great running back duo in Manhattan, and Giddens was to go down like the prop route. His over/under rushing prop was always just money on the over, right? Because he would get that work and he would be good to go. But 40-yard dash, 4.43. Now, the combine is important in this regard, where Giddens, a lot of people have questions about his straight line speed, and I think that Giddens is more of a pace runner, more of a glider. I think that he's really decisive out there, putting his foot in the dirt. There is a lot of Raheem Mostert to his game beyond just wearing number 31. But 4.43, I mean, that checks the box. That's good to go. One less thing to worry about. If he had rolled out like a 4.6, then there would be some questions. But I think that DJ Giddens is absolutely legit. So I did great in vert. Tied Tootin for 10-foot, 10-inch on the broad jump as well. Explosive athlete. I think that he's going to be fun. And we haven't really mocked him a lot because mainly people dislike him. I don't know why. I don't get it, man. But I'm going to start doing it because it's my mock draft. Do your own. Next, Omarion Hampton. So Omarion Hampton just ripped the cover off the ball, right? And Hampton, physical freak, Clint Goss. UNC running back Omarion Hampton deserves to go round 1. Imagine the Chargers 22, Vikings 24, 40. 4.47, 38-inch vert, 10-foot, 10-inch broad jump at 221. All right, so yeah, he's a physical monster, and I honestly do think that the perfect match for him would be indeed the Chargers at 22. Just stylistically, it makes sense the way that Jim Harbaugh wants to run the football. I think Hampton would be fine in outside zone, but that's not really his bag. Like his bag is north, south, man, gap. Just go from there. All right, so I think that's where we're currently at. But Hampton can get it. Like I will see the prop bets like over under 1.5 running backs draft in the first round. I'll take the over pretty easily. I think that at least, well, Genty's obviously going, and Hampton, I think probably pretty solidified himself there. Also, Judkins. So I know that Trevin Henderson, gets a lot of love. Tested perfectly fine. I fully understand that, but I mean, Judkins is legit. Formerly Ole Miss, last year teamed up with Henderson. Henderson won the Natty. 33rd team, which unfortunately is getting rid of their content division. Sucks. A lot of really good people over there. But Judkins versus Zeke from back in the day. Similar height, similar weight, similar 40. Faster 10-yard split for Judkins. Broad jump, no contest. And same thing with Vert. So basically Judkins is a souped up, racked up, and stacked up Zeke Elliott, which is fun. And I know that people remember like Zeke from last year or Zeke from the Patriots. But, I mean, Zeke Elliott, when he came into the league, was a bad dude, man. And Judkins, I feel like the Mixon comparisons are there, a little bit more of a power back. And Judkins gonna be legit wherever he goes. Someone who, so it's interesting. So a lot of people poo-pooed Caleb Johnson's combine. I thought it was perfectly fine, and frankly, I think he checked the boxes as well. Did great in the running back drills, 6'1", 224, and here's what happens like. You got 200-pound running backs running 4.3s and 4.4s, and then a 224-pound running back runs a 4.58. Aha! This is no good. It's so slow. So Caleb Johnson, if you watch him at Iowa, like he was never going to win any track meets, right? But he is more of a patient, sustainable outside zone, put your foot in the dirt runner. Now, he did benefit from a very good offensive line, sure. But Caleb Johnson, I still think should be in the mix for the Vikings. Maybe not first-round pick, although I wouldn't be overly upset about it like some people would. But overall, I think Caleb Johnson's a top 40, top 50 selection. I think that he'll be in the top 4, top 5 running backs, depending on how you see Judkins. But, I mean, Caleb Johnson is pretty damn legit. All right, so I think that he checked some of those boxes there. Also, Scadaboo. So when he said that he wasn't going to run the 40, everyone was just like, he's going to run a 4.9, blah, blah, blah. He probably, well, probably not 4.9. It wouldn't shock me if Scadaboo ran a 4.8. But, I mean, straight line speed is not his game. Like, he's still hard to describe. Like, he's John Riggins and Deuce McAllister combined. But put together a hell of a broad jump. Also, 39.5-inch vert. So the whole white man can jump narrative, tropes, all that stuff. Like, I believe he can fly. And also, if the dude next to him wearing the Jordan 11s, it makes sense. It's fitting. Like, Scadaboo should become the logo of the NFL. Like this. This is what it should be. It'll be good. Something that wasn't good. So I know that the NFL is trying everything to mainstream the combine as much as possible. But if you're like a football guy, like hearing David Spade's inane commentary is just the worst. It was just not good, right? And also, Spade was in the booth during Tootin's run, and Daniel Jeremiah was trying to put in like interesting facts and stuff and things and stuff, but it was just not good. I mean, Tootin comes from a track family as well, let's just ignore that as David Spade talks about ridiculous stuff. Now, they tried it. Don't do it again. It's not great. Like, honestly, what's the appeal? Like, who would tune in for the combine that wouldn't normally, but they will because of David Spade? No one. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Also ridiculous. So a couple of Texas players said that they were going to break Xavier Worthy's 4.21 40-yard dash time. The receiver Isaiah Bond as well as the running back, our guy Jaden Blue, both did not. But here's what sucks. So Bond is always going to have this stigma because he was very verbose about breaking former teammate Xavier Worthy's 40-yard time. But 4.41, 4.40, that's perfectly fine for him. Also, Jaden Blue ran a 4.39, but they're always going to be remembered saying, we're going to break it, and then they came up 0.2 of a second short, which in the 40-yard dash is a lot, which is kind of funny, man. But don't mess with Texas. Somebody you should mess with is Theo Jackson. Ooh, he is for real. Vikes fan page. Viking safety Theo Jackson is someone the team views as ready to step up if Cam Beasley or Harrison Smith end up elsewhere. Kramer mentioned on Vikings Happy Hour, Minnesota is not expected to plug and play a guy from free agency or the draft at that position this offseason. Kramer noted that Jackson was the guy that stepped in every single time for Harrison Smith when he sat out practices, which happened often. And Theo, whenever Beasley or Metellus or Harrison did come off the field, Theo Jackson's in there, and he was rock solid and good to go. And I do think that, especially since there's continuity on the coaching staff, Durante, DB coach, is back, passing game coordinator, Flores is obviously back. I think that does lend to them going with the dude. So, going back to the whole Moneyball thing, I do think that safety is an undervalued position. And you notice that when Kwesi's given out safety money, he's gotten Harrison Smith to have a pay cut every single year. He got Metellus to sign a year early on a 2-year, $8 million deal, which is really more a backup special teams contract. And I don't think that he's going to pay Bynum, the 14, 15 million, whatever his market is. So I think that safety is a spot where they are going to scrimp a little bit. They're not going to replace Beasley or Harrison with a Trevin Moehrig or a Javon Holland or a big-time safety contract. And Jackson makes sense. Jackson is a baller, is coming to his own, and go from there. So that's a little nugget to keep in mind once free agency starts opening. Also, I think Jackson is either an RFA or an ERFA, but he'll be back. There we go. Someone who won't be back in San Francisco is Deebo. So Deebo's interesting because he was seen as this offensive weapon, right? Guy that plays running back, guy that plays receiver. Oh, he's Percy Harvin 2.0. Yeah. Then he got the big-time contract. He was massively overrated for his... Do you know Deebo only has one 1,000-yard season? And that was the year that he was voted first-team All-Pro versus Jefferson. Baloney. Absolute BS, man. But Deebo got paid. Deebo got injured. Deebo got complacent. And Deebo got traded to the Commies for a 5th-round pick. Which is kind of crazy because, remember, the Commies traded Jan Dotson to the Eagles for a 3rd-round pick. But basically, the Niners are just trying to get rid of a salary. They take on a lot of dead cap, but they saved the $17.5 million that they were due to pay him this year. But I think that Deebo with Jane Daniels, Jane Daniels isn't going to put up with BS. So I think that he'll keep him in line a lot better than Shanahan and or Brock Purdy. Plus, the Niners need to save as many pennies as possible to pay Brock Purdy $60 million per year. But this is a power shift because I still think that Washington still should be in the market for T. Higgins. Hell, screw it, why not? Because even though you have Deebo in a premium deal, same thing with Scary Terry, although it's not too premium with Scary Terry, it's pretty good value. You do have Jane Daniels on his rookie deal, so load up with weapons around him and go get some. So hopefully... Well, actually not hopefully, because Washington's going to be an NFC rival for the Vikings for years to come. But Deebo probably is going to be refreshed. New change of scenery. Also with a dynamic quarterback like Jaden Daniels, who gets the best out of everyone. I think you're going to be good to go there. But that's it. That's at Vikings News Dump on this beautiful, glorious, wondrous Sunday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, production value. Put a little something in the Venmo.